A painting is not a photograph. A painting is so much more than a photograph. It's more of a sort of personal expression of what exists than it was. A photograph is not a personal expression. You just click, you take it. And when I came to this country, I found I like drawing. So I drew. It's as simple as that. It wasn't a chore. One great help to me was the local library. I taught myself the history of art. Became familiar with Mantegna, De Chirico, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Native American or First Nation people's art, Chinese art. Anything that was an image interested me. I'm drawn to images. The painting which I'm best known for is called Spirit of the Carnival. You know, the painting with the sensei figure, or Egungun. It's known in different groups of people have different names for it. A figure covered, surrounded by police. That painting was done in 82. I didn't have a studio then. My daughter wasn't born. I've got a lot more money now, but I'm still very careful about materials. I don't like waste. You've got all these bits of cloth here and this and that, you know. I don't like waste. I don't throw things away. I just don't. I keep something. I may use it. I may need it, you know. At the time, there was a lot of talk about the acquisition, rather, of the Madonna on the Rocks by Leonardo da Vinci. They used the word cartoon. Up to that point, I've always associated the word cartoon with Walt Disney. But a cartoon, back in those days, meant a trial drawing. So Da Vinci's Madonna Rocks, brilliant drawing, before the painting. So I said, those Italians can do it. I mean, I'll do the same thing. I don't want to spend all that money on canvas and the thing is not going to turn out right. Oh, no. Let me just try. Let me just do something. I had some paper, I had some bags, just brown paper, ripped it up. I had some sellotape, bam, bam. I got some prick stick, bang, bang, bang. Yeah, made something about the size I wanted. Okay, and then I remembered the figure. I saw the figure when I was about 4 years old in Dominica. I saw it in reality, always stuck in my mind. I remember exactly what I saw. My mind works like that. And also I remembered what was going on with the attitudes by the police and the government and, people in Notting Hill in general about the carnival, and how the efforts were made to stop the carnival because it was this, it was that, it was this, it was too many black people. Black people look as if they were trying to take control. Ooh, we can't have that. Let's get rid of the carnival because there's too much drugs. People look as if they're having a good time. No, we don't want that. We want everybody crying and talking and being in misery. Yeah, we don't want them to be having a good time. That's un-British. I just, I got out, brushes and stuff and worked away the figure. It was only a cartoon because I wanted to work out how I was going to do it. How I would present it, whether I presented the figure as seen from a sort of angle where you see perspective of massive police, how big the figure would be. A trial. It's only when I thought I finished, I looked at it, I thought, my goodness. Now, I attach a great deal of importance to what appear to be spontaneous acts. I say appear to be. Sometimes very good artists can actually make something look spontaneous, and it isn't, but you have to be very, very good. In there, because I wasn't so... I turned around and thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to leave it. I'd never done that before. I'd never, ever done. Normally I did this, or I might put this here. That's how I am. You see, I like Da Vinci, I like Michelangelo, I like those kids, I like Rembrandt, I like those, I like this Caravaggio. Yeah, man, these guys worked on light. That's how I do it. I want to be like that. But I thought, whoa, leave it. It's a good thing I did. It's the best. Unfortunately, this painting is hanging around my neck now because, it's like, oh, you did this. I said, yeah, but I've done a load of other things in between. That was 44 years ago, but it's in like bong on my forehead. I can't remember when I saw the original. I was surprised how small it was, but I saw the Jimi Hendrix Experience at the Savile Theatre in 1967, the first concert. It wasn't a great concert, but as a friend of mine said, Roger Cohen, to see Jimi Hendrix, it didn't matter whether it was a good concert or not. It just didn't matter. I think everybody, somehow we knew it just couldn't. It was just incredible because he was such an incredible sight. When the music was good, it was absolutely mind-blowing. I remember clearly, I could see what he wore, the jacket, and the manner. I became a Hendrix fan. In fact, the first album I bought, it was a swap. I swapped my Cream album with a friend of mine, and he gave me his Hendrix Are You Experience album, which I've still got at home. And over the years, I remember seeing various photos of Hendrix wearing a big hat, like First Nation people of America, because Hendrix is a First Nation guy, partly so, his heritage. I don't know when it came into my mind. I thought, this fat man, the way he's dressed, this very flamboyant clothes, this big hat, I could work on this, and I'd prefer to see Jimi Hendrix because the fat man was a merchant. He wasn't a Cavalier. Into my mind, I was brought up, say, in 50s and 60s. Cavaliers were always white men with dark hair and moustaches, and they were slim. Not this fat geezer, Quite unlike the Spirit of the Carnival, I went and tried to get as many photographs and postcards, rather, of the Laughing Cavalier as I could. So I went to Wallace Collection. I also downloaded as many as I could from the internet. No two photographs looked the same. None of them. They were all different. So I went to considerable lengths, even making almost like a full-size reproduction in black and white. Then I did the same thing with Hendrix, which is downloading from the internet. These two were both long time dead, but I knew what I had in mind, you see. And no photograph of Hendrix, there was none that was exactly what I had in mind. So I literally had to weave together all these images, bits of this and bits of that, as well as weaving in the feeling which I got from the Fran Halls work. Weaving in so you can't see the thing. It was disastrous. Oh, it was totally disastrous. I lost count the number of times I changed it. There was always something. So the rest of the costume was relatively simple. When I say simple, I knew that it would be a very big mistake for me to try and copy the style of Fran Halls. That's impossible. You can't copy an original. Fran Halls is unbelievable. His technique, unbelievable. So I got the clothes looking, I'm not trying to copy Fran Halls, I just wanted to get, the thing looking okay. What I wanted to do, though, was to get the face right. That took longest of all. I didn't want it to look as if I'd taken it from a photograph. I think only portrait painters or people who are familiar with portrait painting will understand. There's a huge, incredible difference between a painting of a person which is done from life and something which is taken from a photograph. They're not the same. No one treats them the same way. But everybody thinks they're the same. No, they're not. A painting is not a photograph. A painting is so much more than a photograph. It's more of a sort of personal expression of what exists than it was a photograph. It's not a personal expression. You just click, you take it. Okay, you can change certain things with light conditions. You can make someone with lighting look menacing, or you can put but a painting is not like that. I struggled and struggled. It took about 7, 8 years. The first version I did, it doesn't look anything like it. You'd be surprised. I've got many versions. I've reached a point so many times where I thought it was okay. I put it away now. Because if I went back, I'd still think, oh, no. When I look at it now, I can see, I think I've achieved that. What I wanted people to see, that it can be no other person than Jimi Hendrix. It's just to emphasize that, I put a guitar, a Stratocaster in the right hand, so it wouldn't be right to do an image of Hendrix without putting, his instrument in there, and stuff. So it's just very much in the corner. The main thing is the head. The painting itself is very, very attractive, so most people, when they see it, I'm pleased about that.